Hey guys, and welcome to Smells Like Teen Angst. And today we are talking about the latest episode of Riverdale. So let's get to it. Yay! And as you may notice, I'm down a person tonight. I have Jordan, who is lovely and excited to be here. And Kiki is off because she had a prior engagement and we couldn't reschedule with her. So tonight, me and Jordan. So, Jordan, real quickie, introduce yourselves like people don't know.
If this is your first time, I'm Jordan. You can find me on the internet at what? There it is, at Lambertra. There it is. When I'm not talking about pop culture with Sarah here, it smells like Teen Angst. I host games on QueueTimes. Yes, that's my normal show, Blackness and Dragons. I messed up and I didn't give Sarah a promo graphic for this great new thing that I'm doing on September 11th, Saturday from 12 to 4 on QueueTimes. We're raising money for No Kids Hungry while we play D&D, and the game is Muppet themed. So if you can handle all of that together, come hang out with us.
That's amazing. And as always, I'm Sarah. You find me here on Smells Like Teen Angst every once in a while, and I'm guesting on a couple other channels and over on that hashtag show. So let's just do a quick little dive in because we were missing for a while. We caught up with 3 episodes, and now we're back to our weekly goodness, which our viewers and fans and listeners, if you listen on the podcast, so they like the weekly digest. So for now, we'll stick to the weekly digest.
We're weekly. Gotcha.
I like it.
We tried something new.
We did. We tried something new. It was a lot, and things happen. So this was chapter 90. Yeah, 90, The Night Gallery, episode 14. We're creeping on a season finale, which I had to look up, which will be October 6th of season 5. And they are currently filming season 6. When that airs, we don't know. We're guessing maybe January, right, Jordan?
I feel like January, February makes sense.
Yeah, and then maybe they'll just do season 1 and go back to that 13 episodes, because that's, in my opinion, when Riverdale shines.
Yes, I'm of the opinion that most shows can be 13 episodes and tell their entire story. There are very few shows that need to have 22 episode seasons.
No, and Riverdale is not one of them. Yeah. However, and I say this because all their really good episodes, if you count them per season, it's probably 13. And that includes tonight's, in my opinion. I think the episode tonight was the best episode Riverdale has done in what feels like years.
It took me a second to get into it because I didn't realize that we were doing this Tales from the Crypt type capsule story thing. But once I figured out that we were just taking a capsule story for each character and then moving on, I was like, wait, this is good. This is really good.
Yeah, it starts with Cheryl opening the door to Minerva into her magnificent castle.
And I was wondering where Minerva had been. Last week when Cheryl was doing her whole church thing, I was like, where's Minerva in all of this?
I know.
When's she going to come back? So I was very excited to see her back, first of all.
Me too, but I get it why she was gone, because, Grandma with the dead eye was like, well, sacrifice her to the gods. Or the goddesses. Sorry, Cheryl. So I would be like, I'm out too. But she was curious enough because apparently Cheryl has a new art gallery and she has painted photos of her friends. And I really liked how dark and twisted this artwork was and how she kind of became the narrator of the show. Because Cheryl's been MIA for way too long, in my opinion. Yeah. Really this whole season. Let's just be honest.
She's been background decoration and just doing odd things. So I liked having her front and center again.
Yeah, me too. And I'm just going to go in order because I think that the story really built to what we wanted naturally in the episode. So,
and they did what we've complained about a lot this season as these very quick cuts. So this episode was great because we got to spend a long time with one character, get their whole situation sorted out, and then move on to someone else without this guy's doing this thing, this guy's over here, back and forth that we've been having a lot this season.
Yeah, I call it the Riverdale whiplash, know? So the first portrait Cheryl shows Minerva is of Archie as a shirtless firefighter, which we all appreciate. And this was like the cold open of the show, which, you know, it's like that little hint right before the credits roll. And I was like, whoa, because we sat in his story for a minute. And I think this is the best work KJ Apa has ever done. And
Yes.
this is some of the like most creative camera work and really intricate and interesting storytelling that we've gotten.
And very honest, because I will say with Archie's story, I was very upset when he started to go off on his therapist, and I was like, I don't like this at all. And I feel like this is very irresponsible in the wake of what's happening in the world. But I like that he held accountability for his actions, and his therapist straight up said, like, I don't feel comfortable around you anymore.
I get it. I mean, he comes barreling in. Like, this entire story was so interesting to me because, as we know, Archie's been dealing with his PTSD ever since season 5 has started, and they've kind of really glossed over the whole thing. And we finally, and because of the vignette stories they've done, we're finally able to like dig in a lot more into Archie, where he's from, the fact that he's into the therapy now. And, you know, and it just starts with like him talking to her and like his monologue of sharing the story just about the dog and realizing it's not just about the dog. And she's doing that eyeball brain thing. And I'm just like watching KJ. I'm like, wow. Like, I was really impressed.
Yes, absolutely. And so then this is juxtaposed with Cheryl hiring Andrew's Construction to go down and mine palladium, which these none of these guys, first of all, they're construction workers, not miners. I don't know. Right. I don't know how if those skills are, you know, applicable. But one of the best lines of the whole episode to me is that Archie was like, hey, I can't go mine for you. And Cheryl claps back at him and she's like, you've been a teacher, a firefighter, a gym owner, a bounty hunter.
Everything we've ever said. She's like, you can do this too. And I appreciate that Cheryl's now in the loop of the town because she's also been so out of the loop and not involved.
She's been so Grey Gardens out. And I'm glad that she's now like, wait a minute, there's palladium under my land. Hiram Lodge is going to steal it. I've got to beat him to the punch.
Exactly. And so she hires this group of like ragtag
Andrew's construction employees.
Andrew's construction. Yeah. And firefighting. Hold on, it's Andrew's Construction and firefighting. You know, like it's a list, bro. He's got a list. It's a list. And I, you know, when watching this too, like when he barges in, because Archie finally says yes to taking some antidepressants, which I feel he's needed for a while. Anti-anxiety meds. And he keeps having these memories and PTSD flashbacks, and he comes barreling in screaming at the therapist, as you said. In those moments, because this is Riverdale, I was like, oh man, are we going to get that twist? Is it going to be a manipulative thing with Hiram and his therapist? And I'm so glad that they actually didn't do that.
Same.
That it was much more real and grounded. And this episode felt very much like the typical, like the almost finale episodes of Riverdale, where all the pieces finally click and you learn the truth. It's not the boogeyman.
Yes, things get way more grounded in reality. And I really appreciate that about this episode, that things were very grounded in reality.
Mm-hmm. And so I really loved that. And like Archie's like, I'm back. It turns out that they were all being carbon monoxide poisoned. Because like we also learned a little bit more about the Mothman, because like apparently Fangs is like, yeah, they were aliens in the ground and they eat people. Like, and I'm like, oh, man,
I love Uncle Frank this episode, because when Fangs is going off and it's like, yeah, there are aliens in the ground, everybody knows about it. And Uncle Frank was like, lunch break is over, stop talking. You're done now. Stop talking. And he was also he was very fatherly towards Archie this episode. Like, it was giving me a lot of Pop Andrews, and I really appreciated the way that went down.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It was really nice to see, because Uncle Frank has big shoes to fill, the actor as well as the character. So I hope to continue seeing that. And Archie, you know, is going to get his hopeful PTSD under control, and he's going to continue therapy, and we're going to see where he goes after this episode. It seems promising, because he goes and apologizes to his therapist as well, and she's kind of like, that last image though of his vignette of him talking about the multiple people he lost, and then you see all of those people behind her and like how daunting that feels, and like as a viewer, and like how terrifying that also felt to be like, you got a second into Archie's mind. And I was like, oh
damn.
Yeah. Oh damn. I was like, it got me a little bit. I was like, geez. Yeah. So we'll just see, like, and that's just like how Archie's story ends. This ominous image, and we'll just see where it goes next week.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping next week isn't bad, because this episode was so good.
This episode really set the bar right now, and I feel like they can't fuck it up.
They can't. So let's just, there was no, Veronica, nothing. No Veronica this episode. Sorry, guys.
No Veronica this episode.
Which I think
no
is good.
Veronica, no Reggie.
Yeah, but really, what's going on in Veronica's life that we really haven't learned about? She's been the open book this whole season, so she didn't really need this vignette like everyone else did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So Betty's story and like her portrait was like, is she the killer? Is she not? Is she the good versus the bad? It's the struggle. And this storyline, I also was like, what are they going to do with Betty? Are they setting Betty up to become the serial killer, to become a serial killer, or is she going to fight that serial killer gene?
Right. Well, because the thing is that Betty thinks that she's going out for vengeance right now, and she's trying to find her sister, and maybe she's just going too far.
Yeah. And I was glad to finally see Alice. We haven't had Alice in a while, even if it was to like manipulate the guy that they think is not monster truck.
Monster truck? The truck driver killer.
The truck driver.
The highway guy.
Yeah, the highway killer. The lonely highway killer. And because Betty's trying all of her FBI tactics, she like lets Tabitha go, which I appreciate, because if they didn't give us that scene, I'd be like, where is Tabitha?
Yeah,
but she was like,
I'm glad that Tabitha was the voice of reason, and she was like, Betty, why is there a guy locked up in the basement? What are we doing? This is outrageous. We need to call in the actual police.
But then Betty says the ultimate line that I'm like, this explains the entire world. You're not in the United States anymore. You're in Riverdale. And I was like, facts. Yes, ma'am.
But also, I love how this show plays homage / rips off so much other classic cinema and classic television. And I definitely had okay, Chinatown. Okay.
It's so good, though, because it was perfect, and she delivered it lovely. This is also, in my opinion, the best work Lily Reinhart has done on this show. We also get, because like she's trying to use all of her FBI tactics in order to like appeal.
Full on Dexter moment.
Yeah. And like she brings the mom in to appeal to his humanity, and it fails. And then she gives this terrifying monologue of like, what if he just thinks it's going to happen? And you think she's made it up. Like, I'm going to start with your feet. I'm going to chance it off your feet, and I'll go cauterize it, go up your knees. And then you learn that is what the trash bag killer said to her. And I was like, gooped. And
right. This is wild.
I'm just like, I don't like, we got so much more about that moment, because they've all, again, this whole season's just been flashbacks and flashes.
Right. For all of the questions that got answered during Betty's segment, I do feel like we got so many more. Most of it going around this time with the trash bag killer. What the hell happened?
Yeah. We got a smidgen. We learned one of the most terrifying things he ever said to her, and she used it, you know?
Is that healing? Is that empowering? I liked it, but I'm just concerned about where Betty is going.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, and like I said, are they setting her up?
You can only impersonate an FBI agent and kidnap men for so long before it comes back to. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, exactly. It'll come back and bite you in the end. And we'll just see. And then it ends, like her whole segment ends with her idea that there might actually be like a family of serial killers. In my brain, it was like Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, you know? I didn't go to Hills Have Eyes. I went to what's the Rob Zombie one? You know which one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, House of Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. So, like, they haven't quite squashed this highway killer. They haven't said that
There's
this is
still
who he was.
there are a lot of open-ended in Betty's situation because we
Mhm.
have to find Polly, we have to find the lonely highway killer, and we have to talk about what the hell happened to her in the trash bag killer. So there are a lot of open ends in Betty's story right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And he knew way too much about Polly to not
Right,
have been
he knows
involved in some way.
something. He knows something.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, does she have blue eyes and an infinity tattoo?" And to be fair, I didn't look at that photo close enough to see if he would have caught that just from that image, but I don't think so. So, we'll see, I guess. We'll see what happens. See if there's, like, a whole family of highway murderers. Just, we'll see. Oh, what's Rob Zombie's wife's name? Like,
Sherry
Moonstar?
Moon. Sherry Moon
Yeah,
Zombie.
Sherry Moon. Yeah, like, Sherry Moon's just like, "Ah!" popping out. She's the best. And then we finally, with Jughead, learn what happened during those missing hours, what happened in New York, what happened, like, all the questions we have had up to, well, how many episodes did I say we're up to?
13.
14 episodes
Yeah.
deep. We finally get some Jughead answers. And I'm like, cool, he went to Iowa and became an alcoholic. I get it.
Yeah, it happens.
You
What
know,
else are you gonna do in Iowa?
it happens. He goes to New York and gets an agent, and the first person he calls is Betty. And I feel like the biggest thing we learned is something that we already knew is how hung up Jughead is, like,
Yeah, right.
still
Still
on
on Betty.
Betty. Like, bro,
Get it
it's
together.
get it together. It's been 7 years.
You were in high
Like,
school back then. Let it go.
let it go, let it go, let it go. Like, it's just sad. It's sad
Yeah.
to watch.
It was
And then
Jughead's whole story was very, very sad.
yeah, like, my little heart breaks for him and goes out to him. But and like, he's needed to be in therapy for a while, and now he's in AA.
Right.
And
He's trying.
it is a step. Because he's telling. Could you imagine being the people in this AA meeting and listening to this story?
I was sitting at the TV and I was just like, what?
Yeah. It's like, he's like, I left that toxic. At least he knows it's toxic. I appreciated the line of him, like, I left this toxic voicemail for Betty on my book opening, and then I fell down a hole, which happens, and I met up with the Rat King. And I'm like, what is this, Ratigan? Like,
That
are
was
we
when
in
I
the
lost
freaking
it. That was when I lost
Great
it.
Mouse
And then
Detective?
can we talk about the Rat King's costuming? Because that was an A+ look. So the crown, the like LEDs, like that was just chef kiss.
Chef kiss. And I partly wished it was actually like an old version of Cole Sprouse, especially when you learn later that
There
he
wasn't
made
no
him
Rat
up.
King at all.
Yeah, that he just, like, goes on this lonely journey, and the fact that Betty is still the one to save him, like, she has always saved him. Like, he hallucinates a guardian angel Betty. I don't know why this is hallucinate for me, but
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And
We'll
she's
go
like,
with
"You
it.
have to get." Yeah, she's like, "You gotta get out of here, bro. You're gonna drown." I'm like, come on.
Let's go.
So the fact that he's like, that's who she still is to him is so tragic and sad to me.
Right? It's so the second he like name checked Orpheus and Eurydice, and I was like, this is heartbreaking, Jug.
Heartbreaking. If you guys don't know that story, read that story. It's a short story. You could get through it in less than an hour. And there's a musical called Hadestown about it. And it is a devastating love story. I think it's more tragic than Romeo and Juliet, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So maybe this was what Jughead needs in order to move on. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Jughead is
I don't know, man. Juggy's Juggy. Like,
and I did think the trauma was going, which I do think that like falling down into a hole underneath the city and having rats all over you is very traumatizing, right? I'll give you that. It's horrific. But they led up to it so much, and it was tied into the Mothman and all these other things. I just thought it was going to be something different. I don't know what I thought it would have been, but I didn't think it was going to be a sinkhole.
Yeah. I didn't think so either. A weird drunk binge where you wake up hungover, covered in rats, and realize that you had to make up this entire story where you might have had rabies because you were so lonely.
Right.
But maybe the Rat King's notes he had in that book are his next YA novel, because YA, you make the money according to
between the Rat King and the Mothman, he's got it.
Golden. What if they have like a love child together?
Right? Cryptid love. There it is, Juggy.
Oh, look at you. Riverdale writers. We'll give you that one. Just give us a little credit. But this was the one that really felt like the most grounded, the most reveal of the boogeyman to me. Because it's just Jughead sitting in a circle with everyone being like, what the fuck, bro? And him having these like realizations.
There was a moment where I started to get angry during the episode when he was talking about the Rat King, because I was like, I swear to God, if they introduce another new character this deep in the season and it's tied to the Mothman and it's some weird supernatural stuff, I will lose my mind.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They didn't do it. They knew better.
They knew better. So now what we're left with at the end of this is Archie dealing with his PTSD, Betty trying to find this 10,000 houses with 1,000 corpses murder family, and Jughead continuing his recovery from alcoholism.
Yeah.
And Veronica, becoming the she-wolf of Wall Street again. Like that's where
Veronica and Reggie are doing their, she-wolf of Wall Street business. Cheryl and Min hooked up at the end of the episode, so there's that.
Yeah, with another like Cupid and Psyche, another myth like story, and they're just like, we'll see what happens, even if it's just for one night.
And Tony's still on maternity leave.
Yeah, Tony is still on maternity leave. Vanessa, come on now. We're ready for you. Yeah, I loved this episode. It finally regrounded Riverdale. It answered some questions, opened some new ones, and I feel like we needed it because the story has been Riverdale's been doing Riverdale. It's had like the 12,000 strings, and now we're finally like, okay, ignore all those for now.
Right.
And we're going to concentrate right here.
We're going to zero in on the important stuff. We'll clean everything up at the end.
Yeah. It felt like a nice refresher. And as you said, Jordan, set the bar really high for the future.
Yes. I really hope that the next, how many episodes do we have left? Like 4? Yeah.
Something like the final one is October 6th.
Which is a month from now. So that's 4 episodes.
Yeah, we have 4 more for them to wrap it up. And then next year, I'm assuming, is when Riverdale returns. So yeah, we'll see. 4
more episodes to answer all these questions.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Well, that's all I got. Jordan, is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Awesome, guys. Make sure that you comment and let us know what you thought of this episode of Riverdale and if you loved it as much as we did. And Jordan, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. I'm Jordan. I am at Lambertra. You can find me on the internet at Lambertra. Just try and figure out where else I'm doing stuff on the social medias. Because
she's awesome.
Who knows? Who knows what I'm doing?
Who knows? And I'm Sarah. As always, just join us here on Smells Like Teen Angst, where we do after shows and reviews. We'll be back with Gossip Girl when that comes back, and we'll continue on with our Riverdale trail. If there's other shows you think that we should dive into, let us know, and we're happy to do that with you.
So and if you guys, if there are young adult books that you might want to hear us talk about, hint, hint,
let us know as well. If you're familiar with our What the Forks podcast, it might be coming back. I don't know. Things are happening. Things are moving. Yeah. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.